Rick Witzman here. This is Pickleball. I'm here with producer and co-host Fabian Rodriguez.
Hello, hello. That was beautiful, Rick. Thank you. Today on the show, we are joined by the most synchronized force in the game. Born in Maui, raised in Indy, and now a dominant force on the PPA Tour. They are the Kawamoto sisters. Jackie, the righty, and Jade, the lefty, are redefining what it means to be a tough out. They just pulled off the upset of the year in Cincinnati, down 2 games in the finals to secure their first PPA gold. When they aren't dismantling the world's number ones, they're working roles at the NCAA. Please help us welcome Jackie and Jade Kawamoto. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us. Yes.
All right, so our listeners might know you as one of the only teams to have beaten the Annas, Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bright. But take us back to before that huge win in Cincinnati. What was your childhood like growing up, and how did you eventually find pickleball?
Yeah, I guess as you mentioned, we were born in Maui, Hawaii. We were there until we were about 8 years old, and then our mom is from Indianapolis and wanted to be closer to her family, so we moved back here in about 2004. Grew up playing tennis and went to Greenwood High School, middle school. And then for pickleball, it was about 2019, and we graduated college in 2018. So a year after college, our dad just kind of randomly stumbled upon it at a local rec center, and he was a tennis player as well and found it kind of fascinating. Bob Swisshelm, one of the head referees on the tour, actually is from the area and got him involved. And then he found it kind of fun and then brought me, Jade, and our brother at the time along, and we just kind of got hooked instantly.
So you skipped over a whole ton there. So you guys grew up in Maui, eventually ended up in Indianapolis, played Division I tennis at University of Dayton. Yep. So kind of take us through that. What was it like growing up? When did you guys leave Maui to come to Indianapolis or Indiana? And then how did you eventually find tennis? And then obviously you said pickleball in 2019.
Yeah, we always grew up playing tennis. We started it back in Hawaii, and when we moved to Indianapolis, we kept playing. We played mostly tennis and soccer up through high school and just really enjoyed tennis. We didn't play a whole ton of junior tournaments. We kind of played travel soccer during the summer and played high school tennis, and we kind of got lucky that we got recruited to play college. We were kind of hoping that one day would happen. We weren't sure, but it happened, and it was a great experience. Wouldn't change it for the world, and it was so fun. And I wish I could say I could still play tennis, but I don't think I could if I tried.
So ultimately, ladies, it's been really exciting for me being one of the earlier pros from Indiana playing this beautiful sport that we love. And I can vividly remember coming down to your side of town, the south side, and there was an awesome fundraiser that you guys had. And I knew of you, but I hadn't played either of you, and I just heard a lot about you. And quite frankly, even though I had probably played a lot more professionally than y'all at the time, I knew that these girls could lay a whooping on me. And I didn't want that to happen. But it was kind of a cool crowd down there, and I think that, we put on a show more than we were trying to beat each other. But, ultimately, when you say, okay, one of the sisters is a lefty, the other one's a righty, they've got their tennis skills, they've got good touch, they've got good feel, their balance is really good, their footwork's really good. They're maybe not that tall, but I knew these girls, if they wanted this, could be amazing. And, what I respect so much, and we've had so many awesome guests on our show, but when you think of a Brooke Buckner, who's a mom and juggling all of her kids and having to navigate home life, I know all about that. And, when you think about Jackie and Jade, and working for the NCAA and maintaining that job while being, I think, a full-time pro, because it's not just playing tournaments, it's keeping your body in shape, it's keeping your mind in the right spot. My question, I got a lot of questions for you both, but how do you maintain a full-time job and keep your headspace as the highest level athletes in your trade?
Yeah, good question. I actually think having the full-time job helps us keep our headspace, actually. I think I would go a little crazy if pickleball was like my end-all, be-all. It's all I thought about. At the time when we started in 2019, the pro tour was fairly small. Like you go to a tournament, you're lucky if your prize money, helped cover your hotel for that night. Then after COVID, when things started really picking up, we're just, I think, a little conservative by nature, and we're like, we'll keep our job, but we'll, explore the professional stuff as we go. And then as our roles got more serious at the NCAA as well, like I really liked what I do. I work in championships and get to see all these different student athletes and work a bunch of different events. And Jade does eligibility, so we really like our roles there. And we just kind of never knew what to expect from pickleball, and it just kept taking off. And now we're here, kind of juggling both, but I think it really does help us, get away from pickleball a little bit, at least for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I agree with what she said. There was last year, it was a little tough on our schedules playing. I think we played at least 20 events last year, so doing that and working was a lot, but I know a lot of players played even more tournaments than that, so I respect all of those people that can juggle that and juggle other responsibilities like parenthood, and if they have other side gigs they do as well. But yeah, I think we've always been kind of like that, where we like to have a variety of things to think about. We don't want to think too much about one thing and obsess over it, because we'll drive ourselves crazy. But so we really like our balance right now.
Thinking about a diversion as a high performance athlete is a really wise thing. And it makes sense. I didn't know what you were going to say, but it does make sense. I probably practice less than every senior pro that I know, but in reality, I'm on a court. I'm hitting balls a lot, feeding balls, staying connected. And one match, one tournament, one league play, it's not life or death for me. And I never felt that you guys put so much pressure on yourselves that one match is going to define you. I don't sense that. I don't read your brain, but I feel like I know you two pretty well, and I really like your on-court demeanor. I think about what my nephew said a couple nights ago in Australia. He was saying that college brought out the inner dog in him, and it does a lot of people. And I don't know what Dayton was like as a tennis player. I know what Alabama was like, but he said now he's got so many people doing so many things for him. I mean, when you girls go play a pro tournament, you have a lot of luxuries where you can hopefully just focus more on just playing. Whereas in college, there's a lot of dynamics of school and getting to class, and do you ride your bike or can you have a car on campus and all those things. So what role did college play in your mindset as a pro? And are you a lot more comfortable in this space now than you were in college?
Yeah, I think college definitely helped us with, managing that pressure of time management, all of the responsibilities outside of the court, but also on the court. You're playing 2 or 3 matches a weekend, and you have to be kind of dialed in when you're on the court and not be thinking about all of those things. So I think that experience definitely helped us. We'll work during the week, and on the weekends we focus on pickleball, and that's kind of how we try to manage it as best we can.
Yeah, I'd agree. And our coaches there, Ryan Meyer and Erica Echo, were like really awesome to us. We were part of Ryan's first recruiting class at Dayton, and we're still very close with the both of them, and they were just great at, yes, we want every one of you to be competitive and want to win, but at the end of the day, this is still just tennis, and you have to focus on being good people and being good students and being good, just everything else besides just tennis. And I think that helped also instill the competitive balance in us, where yes, we want to win. Not flying all around the country just for fun. I want to win, but also at the end of the day, I'm not gonna think about it too long over one loss.
Fabian, I want to ask you, because I've definitely talked to both of them about, hey, lean into singles. I like singles too, and I haven't seen their name in a singles bracket in a while, but maybe I'm not looking closely enough. But you and your wife are amateur players, yep, and you follow the game at the pro level. Would you rather see the Kawamotos playing gender doubles, mixed doubles, or do you like to follow more of the singles pros? What do you prefer?
I think there's just different aspects of all of it that I really enjoy. I think to them specifically, I love watching you two play together. And this is so I was rewatching this last match at the Masters, and Dave Fleming referred to you guys, as a quote here, as a smoke detector going off in the middle of the night because you, quote, just won't go away. That's what Dave said.
Thanks,
so like,
Dave.
I admire so much about your guys' play styles, how good you are at resets, how defensive you are, but how you turn that defensive prowess into great offense. And I think at the level that my wife and I play at, that's like a skill that's really hard to master, is being able to know when to speed up, when to attack, but really just resetting the ball to get yourself back in the point. So all of that to say, I really enjoy watching you guys play together. So 100% do more of that in 2026. I want to go back to something that you said, just referring to having a full-time job as a diversion. I've never really thought about it in that way. And is it that it just kind of relieves some of the pressure that your whole life isn't just dependent upon your results in pickleball? You have this other big part of your life that is also going on.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I just like having, staying busy. I don't want my mind to focus like too much on one thing. When I get into busy times at work, like it is a little I feel like I neglect pickleball a little bit, and we have different busy times. So in the summer, I'm like, let's go out and play all day, every day, and that's her busy time. And then in the spring, I'm like, I don't have time to practice today. Like I got to work, 4 extra hours today. I can't do it. But somehow we balance it, and luckily we're both on the same page about it. We've never, I don't think, once like disagreed, like I think we should really both go full time, or we should both really pull back. Like luckily we've always been on the same wavelength with all that, which helps to have each other's support.
Right. And so what does like a week look like for you? Like prepping for a big tournament, having to juggle your roles at the NCAA, but then also be a professional player on the tour. Like kind of walk our listeners through what that preparation looks like. Because I think a lot of people are just like, how do you maintain such a high level of excellence, but also have this other thing that's taking up so much of your time?
Oh gosh, we're pretty boring. I know people ask this question all the time, and I'm like, I don't, just like anybody else. But both of our bosses and the people that we work with are amazing and like very supportive of us in like pursuing the pickleball thing. So they're really helpful in just making sure, like, we're going to be gone. Like now every tournament is kind of a progressive draw, so like we're gone the whole week. So just they're really helpful in keeping us prepared. And like, if I'm 3 hours behind working in California, just they're very helpful with just get it done when you can. Call me in the evening if that's the best time for you, type of stuff. I think Jade has the same experience with her coworkers in her department.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing we used to hate to do was just like go drill by ourselves. And so like we were never good at that. We still aren't very good, but now, we've got more places popping up in Indy and this incredible place where, we can go. It's usually in the evenings where we'll go practice, drill with ourselves or with our significant others. And then in the weekends, we like to do more rec. We just kind of are more rec people, but we're trying to be more drill people, but we're getting there.
And people hate on Indy, but we do have a good group of like high level guys and girls here to practice with, and they help us tremendously because, like she said, we'll walk off the court after 10 minutes with each other because one of us says something the wrong way, and then we get mad at each other.
But they're lucky to have significant others that are very good players, and I'm jealous that they don't live my side of town because I would like to train with them more, and I don't see them very often. So I'm glad they're here. But in my world of running camps, coaching middle school team, doing tennis, doing pickleball, I'm wired that way that I want to be in multiple facets to feel healthy mentally. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure Leigh eats, sleeps, and breathes pickleball 24/7. I wouldn't love that, and I give a lot of people credit who do that and lock in. Obviously, I'm from a very significant tennis family, and I've seen the highest level. My brother, Ben, and it's a very difficult lifestyle to go full bore, even if you're successful in getting golds. That's a tough lifestyle. So to anybody listening, I just want you to know, having been a pro tennis player, pro pickleball player, and right here with two of the best, I think you guys can agree that selfish, individualized lifestyle where you're only focused on your gold, your paycheck, your sport, that's it, that gets old, and it can affect things. You look at Osaka and tennis. I mean, there's mental health issues that can come from that. So it's a very real dynamic to know who you are. We've got a lot of young kids out here, and kids look up to y'all as helping them find out, is their pathway to go full 24/7 or to kind of have multiple niches that they go into. Because we've seen through tennis a lot of kids burn out, right? A ton in junior. And parents, please do not be that guy or girl to take your kids so intensely that they feel like your love for them is outcome based. Intelligent parents don't understand how toxic this is. And we didn't bring them in here to discuss how kids who are now looking up to them in the sport, but I think it's valuable to get their opinion on, what would you preach to parents of kids that are showing a lot of talent in the pickleball space that want to be pros?
Yeah, I think, everyone has their own different paths, and I think it's different from kid to kid and personality to personality. Like you mentioned, Anna Leigh, she has that dog in her where she wants to be the best, and she demands a lot of herself, and there's probably a lot of pressure on her to continue to compete at the level that she's competing at, which is amazing. And she does a great job of handling herself. And same with like Anna Bright. Like, there's a reason why they're at the top. They've got that in them where they have that intensity. And Jackie and I we're just maybe wired differently. We don't have that same type of intensity. We still want to be really good, and maybe just don't live that same lifestyle. But there's definitely, like in tennis and other individual sports, like you can see kids that are all in, this is what they think about, and parents that are like that with them that sometimes force them to think like that, or maybe their kid's like, yeah, I want this, and their parents are supportive of it. So I think it's just, depending on, you kind of have to feel it out and feel like what's best for you. And if you want to go all in on it, and just know that it's going to take a lot of time, training, mentally can be draining. But if you've got it in you, you've got it in you. And if you want to still have it in you, but explore other things too, that's okay. I think everybody's got their own different personalities and working styles, work ethic, and training plans that will fit their own needs. But I don't think it's something you have to force, or something you have to, if you're forcing it too much, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. But if you truly enjoy it and love it and want to keep pursuing it, then definitely do that.
Yeah, and we're not parents. You're a parent, if you force something too much on a kid, like, they will lose their love for it, and that's like a sad thing. And our parents never really forced us to, do that much. They kept us involved in soccer, tennis, some other sports, and I think that was a great help as well. Just the cross training, but also just interacting with different groups of athletes and not getting too bored or complacent, or in tennis is just one of those sports where you just see kids push so hard they lose their love for it. Like a lot of the ex-tennis players on tour, they're like, once I graduated college, never picked up a tennis racket ever again.
Yeah.
That seems to be really common in tennis for some reason.
Yes.
Hate to say that, I've only picked up a tennis racket a handful of times since graduating. But yeah, I just hope as these generations grow up, with the, being focused on pickleball, you see a lot of that now. It's like kids are just playing pickleball and they're getting really good and stuff. That hope there's a good balance of the parents not forcing it on them, and the kid just truly doing it because they love it.
You hear a lot about specialization into one sport not being the thing anymore, and just having kids play a bunch of different things, which I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and as much as I want them to be really good at pickleball so that they can come out here and play, I totally see the value in allowing them to just explore other sports and not getting burnt out on anything in particular, because we're just forcing it too much on them. Speaking of kids, and you kind of touched on this, like last week in Minnesota was kind of crazy. We saw a bunch of upsets. Did you guys follow some of this that went on?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Camden Chafin, 14-year-old kid, took out Federico. Kaysen Campbell took out Christian Alshon. And I forget the gal's name. It's Kiora. Yeah.
Kawamoto, yeah.
Who did she beat? Brooke Buckner, I think, ended up getting fourth, so lost in the bronze medal match. But that's insane. You're starting to see this generation of kids that are just playing pickleball, and it's kind of scary. There's also another 14-year-old kid, Tama, who I think they signed earlier this year. Kaysen's sister is on an MLP team, is doing really well. You know, is there extra pressure when you're playing somebody that young across from you to like make sure that you win?
Oh God, I don't know. We've been losing to Anna Leigh for 5 years, so I'm used to losing to a teenager.
Years, she's like 28. You know what I mean? I don't think you can consider her like
that's different.
16, 17, 18. She's, I mean, gosh, she's an adult when it comes to pickleball.
I think it's like I've known Camden for a long time, and it's like so awesome to finally see him get that professional success. And same with the others, like just like the sky's the limit for those ones. And I always thought it was only a matter of time before that generation started taking over, and I think you'll see only more of it in the coming years of those teenagers and ones that didn't come straight out of tennis starting to kind of take over the game or at least be highly competitive.
What do they do differently, you think, than the people that had, like, take a Genie Bouchard who had a very successful pro tennis career, or like a Jack Sock, or anybody else that played high level tennis? What are they doing differently that's making them so successful right now?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think there's some pickleball shots that like you don't get in tennis, and like if you just came straight from tennis and started playing pro, it'll take you a little bit longer, I think, to learn those, like the wristy shots, flicky stuff. And I think they probably watch a lot more pickleball now too. Like when we first started, there wasn't too much to watch, and I always like preach to students and people that we teach, like just watch the game, like watch high level people play. You'll learn a lot. So I think maybe just exposure to that has helped as well.
Fabian, when I was playing, and I was only 45, so I'm playing open pro, I'm playing Tyson McGuff in the semis, US Open singles, and we're vying to win that $500 check if we win gold. And I'm not saying that money's the only injection into why kids are more enamored. Jackie's right. It's on TV now. You've got Pickleball TV. I think also, with the MLP and so many famous people endorsing teams, I think that's really risen the level of profile of pickleball. But literally on our staff here, a guy who was a great varsity tennis player, Kevin Henkel. He quit varsity tennis. He now wants to be a pickleball pro. And you know what his goal is and his resolution for 2026? It is to drill and hit 1 million balls. So he's got it broken down per day. He's probably out there right now on the ball
He
machine.
literally just walked by.
Really, I'm not surprised. So I think that, when you lock in, it's usually when you see the fruits of what you can get. For me, it was Todd Witzkin getting all this Adidas gear and big boxes because he was sponsored. I'm like, I want that. Heck yeah. And that's why I got into tennis, because I saw the freebies he got. But now, it's no secret what Anna Leigh's contract was for and what these pros are making. And so I think that the money, the amount of TV that's out there, the famous people that are connected, it's incredible, the growth, and I really wish the sport was as big when I was their age, because then, boy.
Regards.
Rick was the Indianapolis icon, let it be known. Like when we first started, we were like, Rick's like a pro, he's sponsored, he has his own like signature Paddle Tech colorway. Oh my God, that's all I want in life.
What's funny is I remember calling Curtis at Paddle Tech. I'm like, these girls are amazing already. Like, sign them yesterday. And then the tournament you won, you had to change your paddle, what was that story?
Okay, so let's get into, so I don't want this to get away from us. And Jade, I'm going to ask you specifically because you haven't been talking as much. So I want to hear it from you. So this is like, I think to people who follow pro pickleball, this was one of the most exciting things. It's one of the biggest upsets because it just doesn't happen very often. So talk us through that Cincinnati tournament, because it was just I wouldn't say a miracle, but down 2 games in the semis. Then I'm sorry, no. You guys won when you were down 2 games, but you beat Leigh and Anna Bright to make it to the finals, and then we're down 2 games and then still won gold. So if you can kind of talk our audience through what that tournament was like and what that monologue between the 2 of you was during both those games, I think people would love to hear that story.
Yeah, no, that was a wild tournament. But yeah, I think we played Leigh and Anna Bright in the semis. We split games, and then we got down, I think it was like 9-4 in the third, which we've probably in the past, we have said like, yeah, we gave them a good run, but this is how it's going to end.
We put up a good fight this time.
We made it respectable. But I think something in us that day was like, let's not give up quite yet. Let's, keep pushing it. We're playing good pickleball. So I think that just like that mental side of just like having confidence that you might not be able to do it, but maybe you can. So like, don't give up quite yet. Changed for us, and luckily we pulled that one off. But I know like in the past, if I got down 9-4, I'd probably would have been like, yeah, that's probably, I'm not going to come back from
Jade,
this. So I know. And that's like me being, mentally weak. But, and then, yeah, in the finals, we had to do the same thing where we were down 2 games and we could have said, yeah, we had a good try, but we did keep fighting. And I think that's the great thing about pickleball too, is like you're never out of it. Runs can happen so easily where you can be down 4 or 5 points and come back just like that. So just not bowing out of it until the very last point was kind of what I learned for myself, not to do, like I had to stay mentally strong and not, give up on myself so easily. So I think that's what changed for us. And, moving forward, I hope that I can have that same mindset next time I'm down 9-4 again.
We're kind of negative Nancy's,
We
actually.
kinda
But that
are.
day,
we
we were
were.
just playing really good pickleball, and it's at least a little bit easier when you're sisters to go, on a timeout and talk to on the bench and, be open and be like, no, we're not, we can win this. Like, we're playing really good pickleball right now. Like, we just, come up, get the ball back, get the side out, and see what happens. But we felt like we were playing really good pickleball.
Fabian, I feel like I know almost every pro, not maybe the younger ones to come up, but when I think of Dylan Frazier, J-Dub, certainly Ben, even Kawamoto's Gabe Tardio, I feel like there's this very relaxed state in competition because they're living in the moment, and that's really hard for a lot of people to get there. And I think personality is some of it for you two. But, Jade, I appreciate the transparency there that, sometimes you used to think negative thoughts, and, it's the same for me. I mean, just playing in prize money and knowing I'm on live stream and sponsors, and sometimes that gets in my head and I start thinking about it as I get close to the finish line. Like, have you guys trained your brains? Or would you just say by nature you're relaxed, you're on the court with your sibling, which probably a pretty comfortable feeling? Or is it a constant state of growth you try to attain mentally?
I think by nature we don't get too high or too low. We're kind of in the middle, but, negative thoughts can creep in. And, I've seen myself get down on myself more than usual, or sometimes I have to, work harder than other people do to fight to the finish line. And I think that's, people have different personalities like that, where maybe they'll go through those ups and downs mentally. And I think for the most part we are pretty straight line. We whether we're up or we're down, we try to stay focused and not get too mental about it. But yeah,
I have to share this, Fabian. Todd Whitskin was #1 in the world in doubles. You may know that. But he was willing to play a couple tournaments with me. And I played in Winnetka, Illinois in a challenger. And that was the best tournament of my life. He was ranked 40. I was just out of Alabama my sophomore, junior year. And he said, Rick, how far do you think we can get in this tournament? He's asking me this. We got guys in the top 100, a lot of guys 200, 150. I said, I think we can get to the finals. And I kind of really didn't believe that when I said it, but I'm like, I'm not going to say we're going to lose first round. So lo and behold, it was the best tournament of my life. And he was like, I'm so proud of you. And we got to the finals and lost in 3. And so I'm really pissed that I didn't say, when he asked me that question, we're going to win the damn tournament, Todd. But then the next tournament, we played at the RCA Championships, and it was under the lights. I've never played a night match at a top Masters 1 tournament, and I'm playing the worst tennis ever, and we're playing 2 South Americans who aren't known for being doubles players, and we're getting our butt kicked. And on a changeover, he's like, gosh darn it, Rick, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, dude, if you yell at me, I'm probably not going to see the ball better because I'm not seeing it very well anyway. And I couldn't wait to get off the court quickly because I couldn't see, and I was just in a really, really bad headspace, and he wasn't making me feel better about it. Great guy. He didn't have to play with me in that tournament. But I do think that even though they might be, negative in nature a little bit, I think their chemistry that I see and I vibe with them, I think I'd rather play with my sibling if all the chips were on the table versus somebody that wasn't my blood. And I think it's really cool to see that evolution.
Yeah. 2 things we left out of this story, and Rick mentioned it at the beginning, that was the tournament where people had to switch paddles, so you guys were playing with Yola paddles. How big of an impact did that have on your game? Like mentally, did that creep into your brain of just like, oh my God, I'm not hitting with my normal paddle? And then how much of those wins were fueled by ice cream?
It's mostly the ice cream. No, the whole September 1st deadline for the UPAA approved paddle list was kind of right before the Cincinnati tournament, and we weren't sponsored by Proton at the time. We were just using their paddles, so we're sponsored by them now, so they're awesome, but and it wasn't their fault. Their paddles just didn't end up on the list at the start of that tournament, and some Yolas came into our hands, and I find those paddles are pretty easy to pick up on if you never played with it before. Like, it's a pretty good feeling paddle. So that was, it was concerning, I'd say. Yeah. Like you want to use your normal paddle that you've been playing with for months and months, but at the same time, I thought our counters are really good. And then those 2 long matches that we had, the semis and the finals, like a lot of girls were just wailing away. So we kind of just had to focus on the counters, which helped.
Yeah, I think Yola's obviously a great paddle, so easy to transition if you have to play with a Yola. But we're really happy to be sponsored by Proton now and back with the paddles that we chose.
Yeah, they're not paying us any money, so we'll bleep out the name of those other paddles that you had to play with.
Well, JK. I would recommend one of the paddle sponsors that are listening to sponsor this show.
I agree.
And I do want to make note that I think the Kawamotos would play really well with any paddle. I do. They have good fundamentals. They understand the game well. Their shot selection's fantastic, and they're great athletes. I think Proton's great for you guys, and I'm glad they appreciate you the way you deserve to be appreciated. But I don't want all of our listeners to feel like there's only one paddle for them, and there's only one company. I recommend them try a lot of different demos, and I think there's a lot of great paddles out there.
And congratulations, you mentioned that you guys are now officially sponsored by Proton. Did anything else change after that win in Cincinnati? Like, I mean, and maybe I'm making too much of a big deal about it, just as a fan, as a person that watches those games. But was anything noticeable that was just different, even a confidence level?
Oh yeah, I think our confidence went up. We had a handful of silvers between the 2 of us together and apart over the years, and to finally get over that hump and get a signature win was a really big confidence boost for us, I think. And yeah, just no. And I think it's always fun to compete against those top players. Whether you win or lose, I just have a good time playing that fun of pickleball. Even the times I've lost, I walk off and I'm like, that was really fun. But to finally get the win, I was like, that was even more fun.
Yeah.
We have an element of this show where it's signature shot, what's your best shot, favorite shot. And it's okay if you don't feel like there's one thing that you love to do, crunch time, better than everybody else. But Jade, do you have a signature shot you'd say you really like?
I don't know if it's, my signature shot, but as a lefty, I feel like there aren't a ton of lefty females. They're definitely coming in more now, but I usually I have this thing where if I'm taking a ball out of the air with my forehand, I kind of redirect it cross court and try to pin it, in a good spot that's maybe trying to jam somebody up. And I feel like that's something that's unique to lefties, that maybe they can only kind of hit that angle with their forehand. So any lefties out there, maybe that's my recommendation.
Nice.
Are you a lefty? Comment below.
Jackie, how about you?
Yeah, I've always been a lobber, so I feel like the lob is always just a good play. I think, especially when I'm nervous, I don't feel nervous really lobbing. I think it's make the other person hit the overhead. That's a harder shot for me actually than the lob. But yeah, I think Jade's cross body, just coming from that angle from a lefty, you just I see it because I practice with her, but a lot of these other people don't see it. So that's a kind of a go-to shot we'll go to at the end of a match. I'm as soon as you get one that you like, go for that angle. So that's kind of a play for us. Maybe bleep that out so the opponents don't hear it. No, I'm just kidding.
I think they see it so much, they're used to it now, so I need to change it up. But if you're playing someone that maybe hasn't played a lefty in a while or not that often, it's a good shot.
So I think one of the biggest stories for pro pickleball this year will be the lob, right? You see Anna Leigh doing a lot of the lob serve. Mm-hmm. Anna Bright famously has been doing that for the last few months, last few tournaments. You guys have great lobs. I would like to develop that shot. So, you mentioned that as one of the shots that is kind of your signature. Can you talk us through how you would practice that or how you hit it so that anybody listening can go out there and try to add that to their, bag of tricks?
Yeah, I think practicing it is, and you're always going to get kind of different conditions outside with a little bit of wind versus indoors. You kind of have to adjust, but the most important thing is getting it high. Even if you're, it's not as deep as you wanted to, at least giving yourself the time to either back up or make the other team back up is one thing. And then my prep, people always tell me this, maybe I don't even think about it. My prep looks very similar to my forehand dink, where I'm dipping the head and keeping it out in front. And maybe the other teams are looking to lean in and take my next dink out of the air. So that's always, when you're looking for that, you're looking how close the other team is to the kitchen line before you can throw it up.
I think disguise on the lob is easier utilized when you're at the kitchen, where it's hard for them to read that. Obviously, disguising when you're all the way back at the baseline, it's not quite as paramount, but I think Jackie's really good at that. You can't tell when you're up there and you're leaning in, hoping she fires it at your body. You can't tell when she's pulling off that lob. So I agree. I think her disguise is fantastic.
I think people are using it more too, even when you're scrambling behind the baseline, just being able to throw it up and give yourself time to kind of get back to neutral is also a good play. It doesn't always have to be offensive at the kitchen. Yeah. You'll see more pros kind of throwing it up. Maybe there's some sun, maybe there's a little bit of wind that'll mess up their next shot, but even when you're scrambling.
Rude. I think also for our amateur listeners, when you lob over their backhand and you're at the kitchen, there's no reason you should back up, even if you think they can take it in the air and snap it. I mean, your reflexes, at least our reflexes as pros, good enough to handle anybody's backhand smash as long as it's a fairly deep lob over the backhand. So they're good at taking that next ball in the air, and it's pushed them off the net and off the kitchen line so much. It's almost an offensive shot, which is very odd to say it that way, but it almost is. High, deep to their backhand, you've now gone on offense with your positioning compared to theirs.
Yeah, I know at the rec level, the general rule of thumb is just to always lob the old person. I'm kidding.
The older people lob more than anybody.
That is true. But I was just messing around. So 2026, what has you guys most excited? How much more of this partnership of you two playing together can we see? And, what tournament are you looking forward most to playing in?
We are going to play a little bit of a lighter PPA schedule, so we might not be at as many as we were last year, but for the ones that we are going to play, we are going to play together.
Planning to at the moment.
Planning to, at least. That could always change.
Sometimes that changes a week before the tournament.
Yeah. No, so I'm excited that we're going to play together a little more, because we actually didn't play very many together last year. But, yeah, we're going to try and play more this year. Do we have a certain one we're looking forward to.
I mean, I always look forward to the Cincinnati one, just because it's close to Indianapolis. All of our friends and family can get over there, and that was a big help to us at that tournament as well. Just having like a lot of the crowd support, and that venue's awesome. But
And the ice cream as well.
yeah, yeah.
What was it? Is it Graders? Black Cherry?
Raiders. Yeah.
Leaning into the crowd is something I like to do because there's usually 5 people watching me and they have like 500. But do you guys feel like you lean into the crowd and use some of their energies, or do you just kind of block it out just to stay in your lane? Because I think it's, dependent on who the person is, how they vibe the atmosphere. How do you guys flow with that?
Yeah, I definitely love when a crowd is more energized, even though if I'm not, one to show it too much. I definitely think it pumps me up more, and I have more energy in me when the crowd has energy. So I definitely love hearing the crowd.
Yeah, I agree. I was not at the Dallas Major League Pickleball event, but I was watching you play on the TV, and like that crowd just seemed like insane. And you came home and you were like, that was like the best crowd ever. Like it was super fun. You had that really tight match against the Fives, and I was like, wow, this makes pickleball, like who says pickleball's not a spectator sport? Like that was awesome. So yeah, every player likes the crowd energy, I think.
Somebody in our comments said that it wasn't a spectator sport. I know who you are. Say it again.
So, question this or that. PPA individual tournament, MLP team battle.
Oh, man.
I like them both. Like I really have a lot of fun at both of them.
Yeah, same.
Unacceptable.
Come on.
Unacceptable.
That's
Do
the
you guys
PC
live together?
No, we live like 10 minutes apart.
Okay, so close enough. All right, so who's always late?
Ugh.
I'd say Jackie's later
Yeah.
than me, but
Yeah.
we're both late.
Who's
later.
messier?
I'd say Jackie.
I think I know
You
the
asked a
answer to
different
this,
question?
but I could be wrong. Who's better at texting?
Oh,
Me.
I knew it.
I communicate on behalf
I
of
am
the
a
both
bad
of us. Yeah.
texter,
If people
yes.
need to get to Jade, they usually text me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, who's the better driver?
Me.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I knew we were going to get at least one of those. Okay, and then
Who's better at tennis?
Oh, I was better probably high school through the first half of college, and I think Jade really dominated like sophomore through senior year
Wow.
of college. Like she was way better than me.
Wow.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree. You always had
Some
a
of that
better
was a
forehand, and
little-
I always had a better backhand.
Some of that was
But
a little
yeah,
injury
you were
driven
better than
too,
me most of
but-
the time.
any telepathic powers on the court? I think they were just showing. I think Hunter was playing for gold this last weekend, and Yates was on the bench, and they were saying how they communicate. Like he's coaching him through the power of his mind. They're also twins for anybody that doesn't know. So do you guys feel like you have that kind of nonverbal communication where you know what you're thinking, you know what to do by just a look?
Yeah, and I think if I'm playing like not with Jade, or if I'm in an MLP match and she's watching, like I'll look to her, like I really lean on her, and she's pretty emotionless, as you can see. When if I ask for anything verbal, she's like, "You're literally just playing bad. Just like get the ball over the net." I'm like, "Oh, you're right. Okay."
But yeah, we do definitely know what the other's thinking most of the time. We don't have to say it. That's why I don't think we speak a lot on the court. We just kind of know, and usually when we do speak, it's like, getting under our skin a little bit. So most of the time we just keep it in our minds. But we've always kind of just like grown up, since we've played together so much, we instinctually know, I even know like her patterns, what she's going to do. And she'll know my reaction if she, does something bad. And if I do something bad, we kind of just turn away. But even during points, like we don't always talk about it. We just kind of know that what's going to happen.
We see a lot of husbands and wives that aren't great mixed doubles partners here in the pickleball
I feel attacked.
and tennis world too. But, when you think about growing up together, in my case, Brian is Ben's coach, and that's a father-son. And I'm so proud of how Brian navigates Ben in such a high-profile world. And I don't think Ben would want anybody else to be there for him but his dad. And that's really cool, and it's tricky. But at the same time, as while it's tricky, you can say less and mean more and have them understand more because of the lifelong connectivity. And I think if you have sisters on the court, dad, son, coach, I think as long as the emotions are in the right spot, I'd prefer that over having an outsider try and coach me or be my partner.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique connection to have like a family member or sibling or someone that you're working with, whether it's like coach student or partner. Like, it's definitely different. It can be challenging at times, but it's, I think, more rewarding at times as well.
You know, you said something earlier, and when I coach some husbands and wives, I'm like, would you talk that way to your partner that wasn't your spouse? Because that sounded very snippy. Like, you're right, I wouldn't have said that to my mixed partner that I play in a tournament with. So do you guys ever think about talking to each other as if you weren't sisters, or do you feel like you can kind of get away with that extra spice?
If we were mic'd up, man, you would hear things.
A lot of bleeps.
Yeah, a lot of bleeps.
But we're so like nice when we play with other people. Like, Jackie's so nice to her partner. I'm like, you're never like that with me.
I'll go for a paddle tap and have to like air 5 myself because she's just like, nope, not doing it. With our boyfriends, her fiance, my boyfriend, we both played mixed doubles with them for a little bit, and there's definitely the frustration. Jackson is, oh, God bless his heart, maybe not as intense sometimes in matches, and I'm like, bend your knees, like move your feet, and maybe Tate's the same way. He's a little more vocal to you, I think, the other way around. It's just funny, different dynamics and different relationships. I think the last match Jackson and I like played in a tournament together, we lost to Jade and Tate at the Indianapolis tournament. So that was the end of our run together. But it was time. Yeah.
Jackie, I honestly haven't thought about this for a long time, but you and I played mixed together.
Oh, yeah.
In the tournament Terre Haute. And didn't we play Jade? Did we play you in that tournament?
Did you play?
I think we played.
Just watched you guys. I don't remember if I was in it or not.
I feel like we played you in the round robin. It was super close. I cannot remember.
It came up on my Facebook memories the other day. I'll have to look.
Wow.
We need to put that in the show notes.
Well,
Post a picture.
I haven't asked Jackie to play since because I'm pretty sure she wouldn't play with me anymore. So
I can't blame her.
I hope it comes up on my. What? Well, we're playing tonight, so maybe I
Yeah, there you go.
show my left-hander.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. This is Pickleball. Would love to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can follow you. You're on private, so
Yeah. One day we'll get Jade off private.
And then shout out your sponsors. You guys are now officially signed to Proton. Tell them what paddle you're playing with. So where can they follow you? What paddle you're playing with?
You can follow me on Instagram, JAK_JAK23, I think is my handle. I'm not too active on Twitter. Jade, what's your handle?
That's a good question. I think it's maybe Jade_Kawamoto24. I don't know. Jackie's more interesting to follow, so you can follow her.
And then, yes, we're sponsored by Proton Sports for our paddles, and we play with them for a long time. We love their stuff. I currently use the Flamingo, but they came out with the Project Peacock, and we're both starting to get used to that, just trying to get used to the different shapes and stuff that they've come out with. And I know they have a lot more stuff cooking and ready to come out, so we're excited for that.
Signature paddle in the works?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Paddle Moto?
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah.
My ear feet.
Okay. Well, thank you guys again so much for being on the show. Make sure you follow us on all social media and on YouTube. This is Pickleball Podcast. Rick has something to say.
Well, this is really important to me. I just wanted the Kawamotos to know that like we both share in the loss of a sibling, and that's very near and dear. I won't ever forget that. I certainly know about your brother and my brother, and so I'm sure you guys think about him a lot. I certainly do. Everything that I do with Todd is pickleball, tennis, whatever it is, ripskin, wristbands, everything's an honor. So just know that I remember that, think about you guys, and know about that fundraiser and whatnot. This is Air Feet, and I love and being an American. And Ben actually just put that on the Australian Open. He put
saw that.
USO, and he got a lot of crap for that. But screw that. We love our country, and we're never going to be apologetic about that. So these air feet, I think they're really, really cool. I'm not saying, well, yeah, you should buy them actually. But also with the Tyrol shoes are great pickleball shoes. So we've got those we're sporting. And thank you to Paddle Tech, my sponsor. That's been unbelievable for me. And we have a new change with the name of the National Pickleball League now. So it's Champion Series Pickleball. New news, big news is coming out in 2 days from now. So pay attention.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for being
was
here.
fun.
Rick. We're out.
This is pickleball, baby.
All right.
Love it. Love it.